Morning, ladies.
In the Sioux Falls School District, safety and security are the top priorities. Students can't successfully learn in an environment where they don't feel safe. Over the last decade, the district has dedicated millions of dollars to security upgrades at every facility, thousands of hours of staff training to respond to emergency situations, and drills are held throughout the year to help our students know how to respond in any emergency situation. But one of our longest standing and most effective means of protecting students and staff is a priceless partnership with the Sioux Falls Police Department. School resource officers and school safety officers are in our schools and at after-school events, building relationships, educating students, and mitigating threats every day.
As a school resource officer, we do a bunch of different things. We educate students and staff, teach different classes at the elementary schools and even at the middle school and high school. Sometimes a teacher will have us come in their classroom if something law-related or talk about internet safety or anything like that. Another really important part of our job is just creating relationships with the students and getting to know them, making sure that they're on the right tracks in life and just creating a positive relationship between the kids and police. Also, a huge part of our job is safety, making sure the school is safe and protecting the students and the staff here at the school.
A lot of things that are happening in this world, there are more reasons to have us than not to have us. Safety is the number one priority, number one reason why I'm here. We see it almost daily where there's a situation. Just yesterday there was a school shooting in California. There are so many incidents that happen, whether here in Sioux Falls or the state of South Dakota or the US or outside of the country, where schools are being violated. And the school is a safe place for kids to get away from all the drama and all the issues outside of school, whether it be from their friends and family. School's always been a safe place. And the kids want to come here to get away from what's going on outside of school. They want to come here to get an education, but also to forget about the stuff that's really negative outside of school. And my job is to ensure that a kid can come here, let his guard down, or her guard down, and get an education and just not worry about somebody coming in after them. And my presence alone, my police car parked outside, or me here in the office walking the hallways, will, in my opinion, will definitely deter somebody from trying to come to the school to do something that's going to hurt somebody. And I've had a parent that decided a couple years ago that wanted to come in, and he was angry, but as soon as he saw me walking into the school, his demeanor calmed down, changed, because he realized he was not going to be able to attack anybody, or he wasn't going to verbally go after anybody. Just my mere presence alone made him realize maybe he should rethink the way he approaches this. And it's worked.
Walk in the halls between classes, check some bathrooms. You know, you smell around, see somebody smoking in the bathroom. Finding kids who aren't where they're supposed to be. There's hiding spots, especially in this building. Being so old, there's a lot of hidden corners. Check some spots like that. Driving the neighborhood. Also, the way the school's laid out, it lends itself to kids leaving campus, and they go off into the neighborhoods. And there they cause some problems. We've had some thefts, some vandalisms, things like that. They'll go up to use drugs or smoke. And so we drive the area around the campus. We know where a lot of their hiding spots are, where they like to go. So we'll go check those places. The more proactive we are on that, the fewer citizen complaints we get from the neighbors. We'll get up during the lunch periods. Not every day, but we get up there, hang out at lunch. I'm just visible there. They'll see you. It prevents fights. Talk to kids. If kids have a question, they'll come up and ask you about stuff. The teachers, you can get to chat with the teachers who are working lunch. You know, a lot of that just chatting with people, the teachers, the kids. You get a lot of information, find out what's going on. Just had a teacher come in and give us some information on, you know, what the senior prank might be. Hopefully it's not destructive. which would be, and hopefully it's funny because I really enjoy a good prank. Right now, I don't have anything going, so I'm allowed to have some proactive time. First thing this morning, we did have a few things come to us, so we didn't have a chance to get out right away in the morning. Did have one kid who didn't want to come to school. I had to go out and convince him that maybe being in class is his best option today.
One huge aspect of this job is education.
Is this helmet right? No. Why not? What's wrong with it? Anywhere from pre-kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade, I do school safety stuff for that. I will do stranger danger, I do internet safety, lesson on there are no secrets. If any kid is being abused in any way, shape, or form, we talk about that. Give them the education on how to deal with it, how to report it, how to just share things that need to be shared with the appropriate people. Bicycle safety, and then here in the middle school level, I'll talk about internet safety with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then I also will work with some social studies classes to talk about constitutional law, and I'll explain how the Bill of Rights affects their lives and my life as a police officer, as well as just a human being here. So it's anywhere from minimal stranger danger up to internet safety to anything in between. I'll talk about it and share the way the laws apply to it and how to do the right thing. I am assigned Memorial. This is where my office is. Discovery Elementary, Hayward Elementary, and then I have T Frontier Elementary from the T School District, which is in Sioux Falls. And then I do school safety to all the schools on the northwest portion of the city, which is basically north of 26th Street, west of Minnesota Avenue. Every grade gets one lesson per year, if not two. And I love getting in the classrooms. I love sharing with those kids the ways, just the rules and letting them know that it is more common sense than they think, and a lot of them already know the rules. It's fun to do, and it's just awesome. It's my best part of my job. The bicycle safety class, I basically just come in and I'll talk to kids and give them just a few pointers, tips, and I will share some of the rules and laws that go along with riding a bike and demonstrate my bicycle helmet that it's not mine, but it's one that I bring, and it's the key thing is to see if they can figure out what is exactly wrong with what I'm doing. As far as the bicycle safety class, it's just really a refresher of rules that even a third grader already knows. And then just giving them some more tips that are laws that they probably didn't know, and just refresher and getting them ready for this riding season.
And naturally being a resource for students, staff, and parents.
My primary school is Edison Middle School, and then I also have Laura Wilder Elementary School and Sonia Sotomayor Elementary School, and then also Lifescape. So it's a lot of fun. My primary office is here, but I get to go to the different schools for just teaching classes, drills, hang out with the kids. Every day is different. Some days you can be swarmed with different, things between teaching classes. Sometimes if you have a class scheduled, you don't even get to teach it because something more pertinent or higher priority, if there's a child that's hurt or anything like that. So there really isn't a typical day, but if nothing serious went on during the day, I would come in, greet the kids in the morning, come back to my office, check emails, make sure there's nothing super important that I need to take care of. We'll walk the halls. A lot of times during lunch, I'll have kids come in here and just have lunch with me and hang out. I've got a basketball hoop in my office, so a lot of times I like to just shoot some hoops and just hang out and have fun. A day I may need to interview some kids about something that happened outside of school, or help the principal and assistant principal with things that maybe something was stolen out of the locker room, or just simple things like that. We do a lot of investigating. We're basically the detective for the school and the students and stuff, so any crime that happens to our students or committed by our students, then we're kind of the detective in that case, and we do the follow-up and interviews and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I've been a police officer for almost 19 years here in the schools, about 6 years. It's fun. School's a fun environment. For the most part, teachers are great. The kids are a blast. Really, in any high school, you only have a handful of real problem children. The rest of them are good kids. And most of those good kids occasionally have a bad day, and we have to deal with them then. But most of the time, it's good kids having a good time, and we just sort of try to interact with them in the best way we can. You say hi to a lot of kids too. Being here on a daily basis, I might just say hi to a kid. I might be the only person who says hi to that kid, has a positive interaction with them that day, can change their whole outlook. And that keeps me coming back. Just, I'm making a difference here, for sure. Relationship building with kids. A lot of it is just small talk and just in the hallway saying hi to them. Or a lot of the kids will be down here for some event that happened. Who knows what it is. And maybe they get in trouble. There's a lot of kids that we have actually had to take up to the reception center who are now kids we say hi to, we joke with in the hallways. It's just little stuff. And they get to know that you're not out to get them. And we're really not. We're not out here to get kids. We would prefer not to do paperwork on these kids, get things taken care of without that. And so just chat with them, treat them fairly. I think high school kids really appreciate if you're honest with them and treat them fairly. Because I don't think they get that a lot. It makes them feel like they're being treated like a grown-up. And it's pretty easy to do. You don't berate them. Be understanding, sit here and listen to them. And understand in your own brain that, yeah, this is a good kid who made a mistake or is having a bad day. Don't judge them too harshly.
I usually try to get out in the hallways and greet kids in the morning, and after school when they leave, try to get out there and, tell them to have a great day, that type of thing. If I have a student that I need to interview, I'll bring them into my office, or if somebody needs to talk. Sometimes if the counselors are busy or a student wants to come in and talk to me just about some bullying or some problems at school or something, then they'll just come in and walk in and we'll have a chat. Like I said, a lot of times during lunch, I'll have a group of kids coming in here. There's 3 different lunch periods, so the different grades. So sometimes I'll have lunch in my office 3 times a day. I don't eat every time, obviously, but having kids in here just to hang out during lunch. I like to visit with the teachers too and just see how things are going and if they have a problem with a student or anything like that.
The benefits of this partnership for the Sioux Falls School District are clear. Experienced police officers working every day with students and staff. But partnerships go both ways. So what does the Sioux Falls Police Department get out of this arrangement?
The police department gets out of this partnership a lot of things. Number one, a positive image of law enforcement in the schools. Kids see us in a positive light where here at the school, I'll be in the hallway and talking to them and laughing with them and joking with them. And I like to tell a lot of jokes. I like to be pranksters sometimes. Kids form that relationship where maybe 10 years from now, they may be the victim or maybe a witness of a crime, and they're more than willing to call 911 or talk to police officers when we ask questions. The biggest reward of our relationship is connecting with kids. And we've had more kids that have been willing to report things just because we're here. It helps that they just need to go from their classroom to here. They don't even have to call 911. They can come to my office and report a crime, or they can come to me and report something and not have the fear of, should I call 911? Even if they question it, they'll come to me and ask. And that's just, for me, to be here as a resource officer, that is helping spread the word of getting out, coming to us for help and asking questions. And reward that we also get is we get to know some of the kids that are struggling, and we can work through them through their lives. And believe it or not, law enforcement, we don't want to put people in jail. We want to keep people from making mistakes and committing crimes and going to jail.
It's huge. I mean, I've gotten a call in the middle of the night or on the weekend with something with one of my students, and the officers on the street know that I probably know who they are, or I might know a little bit more. And so I think having school resource officers, well, for one, if there is something horrific that would happen at the school, a school shooting, you do have somebody there. There is no wait time for officers to get there. And I think they realize that we train a ton on lockdowns and school shootings and just like the serious things that could happen, and just pray that nothing like that would ever happen. But if it does, we're prepared and we're ready, and we'll take action. Another thing, just like I said, talking about the summer, even when we're not in school and we're working out on the streets in the summer, having that relationship with the kids during the school year, is great. And they, the kids know that I'm a safe person that they can come talk to, or if they're having problems. I've had officers on the street, even on the weekends, they'll send me an email the next day saying, oh, I talked to so-and-so and they said you're their school resource officer. I just wanted to let you know this is what was going on. So I think the kids appreciate it too, knowing that there's somebody there on their side and somebody there looking out for them.
Great for the police department. We get to have interaction with these kids. They get to know us. The ability to respond to, I couldn't call it crimes, police calls. The car crashes that occur here, the thefts. The kid isn't going home and calling 911, this evening. They come to me down here during the day. I can maybe solve it during the day. It's great. We do the follow-up on all of our cases, keeps these things that happen at the school out of our detectives' hands, frees them up. The biggest benefit is probably the crime reduction in the preventative end of it. I mean, just because there's 2 cops here at the school, kids may not get into a fight. They may decide they're not going to steal something. Because we are right here. We're having very good luck here at Lincoln this year with cell phone thefts. Solving those things and recovering cell phones this year. And when that word gets around that, yep, they're catching them on that, it reduces that. It's a huge benefit for the police department.
While this partnership has been long-lasting,
we're now getting police recruits who went to school here and dealt with some of our SROs from the Sioux Falls Police Department, or they had an SRO at their school somewhere nearby, and they're like, yeah, seemed like a great guy. They had a lot of fun. It wasn't this scary person driving by in the police car that's out to get you that you think people may see as you go by on the street. They get to know you, and they realize that, yeah, you're a human being. And yeah, it's fun to talk to kids who, Hank Bain being the benchmark that we all set ourselves by. Kids who had him as a resource officer at Washington, and they have great things to say about their relationship with him.
there can still be some misconceptions.
Quite often I'll get a parent to say, really, do I need a police officer at my kid's school? And I explain to them there's multiple reasons why I'm here. I'm not just here to scare them as a police officer. I'm here to ensure their safety. I'm here to give them an education. I'm also here as a mentor, as a counselor, as a support. I'm just one small peg in this system that we have that helps each child succeed. I also have to sometimes step in as a law enforcement officer to address issues with parents. And there was one parent that I remember years ago questioned me the first day, like, why are you here? And I gave him the whole spiel of I'm here to keep them safe and give them an education. And then I ended up having to do a traffic stop, and it was that parent. And then instead of giving him a ticket, I said, this is my time to give you an education and tell him, what he did for a violation. And I said, I'm not here to be the mean guy. I'm here to be the nice guy that has to sometimes do mean things, and stopping him and explaining to him. And A lot more parents, once they have that, that explanation, they get it.
All the high schools, Lincoln, Washington, Roosevelt, and Axtell all have 2 officers at them. There are times it is really busy here. We're dealing with things, it could be a car crash. It could be somebody got a cell phone stolen. There are assaults that occur sometimes, fights, I would call them. It gets busy. Plus, it's the preventative stuff. If one of us is dealing with something, there's still a police car parked out front of the school. Better to be, preventing something than having to come to the school because of an incident. Yeah, these schools are very safe. There's a reason for it. Because we have 2 officers at the schools. Because the city is willing to provide those resources to the school district. And so the schools stay safe.
For these officers, it's more than just a job or an assignment.
It is a job that you have to apply for. I love working with kids. I've always loved working with kids, even outside being a police officer. I'm involved, mentor and youth leader, that type of thing. So I've always really liked working with kids, and so this is the perfect fit. I love being a police officer, and so I get best of both worlds, being a police officer and then also working with kids. So it's a great way to create positive relationships with them. Last year, for the first time, Sioux Falls went out to the fairgrounds during the fair time during the summer, and usually it's the county guys that take care of that, but I went out there to work, and they were just amazed on how many kids knew who I was or came up to say hi. And so when you create a positive relationship with them, if they need someone to talk to or they are, have a problem or something, then they'll feel comfortable coming and talking to you. And so we found that was very beneficial, even at the fair last year.
I love it. It's the best job ever in law enforcement. To be able to talk to kids, to be a part of their lives, give them an education, but also give them reassurance that even when they're not doing the cool stuff, they may be doing something that's not cool, but it's still the right thing to do. It's still good to do. And I just love to prevent kids from making mistakes or committing crimes. If I can just give them an education and talk to them and just be a positive part of their lives, it's the best part about my job. And I can't think of anything better, more rewarding than to see some kids that were struggling and to help them turn it around and succeed and achieve their goals. That's the hugest part of my job, and I love it the most. I've had students that were anywhere from just the first kid that I ever met as a school resource officer, the first kid that ever did a police report. I still talk to him almost every week or so, maybe. I just will send him a message. He lives in New York City now. He's going to college there, but he's reminding me every day that he's achieving his goals and shooting for the stars, and he's doing what he wants. He's following his dream. I've had other students that were victims of crimes that were really serious. A couple of them I can think about what they went through. It just is the most horrible crime in the world, and they still come to me and talk to me and let me know that they're able to achieve their dreams and still go through things. And those are the kids that I will always cherish being a part of their lives, just to help them make the best of everything. And then all these other kids that I see there's here in this school we have almost 1,400 students, and every day I try to get out and let them see that I'm here to be part of it. And the kids that were here 3 years ago that are now in high school, when I walk into a gas station to get a pop, if they see me and they come up and give me a high five, to let them feel that they can come talk to a police officer, because we are just typical people. Some are different than others, but they're not afraid to come and say hey and hi. And I've got kids that come up to me and share stories about their lives and what's going on outside, some of their struggles. And a lot of kids know that if they ever need to ask for help, I'm always here.
Well, the school's a fun place to be. Just the atmosphere around the office and the whole school. We're friends with the teachers. And yeah, they're glad we're here. That most of them know that if they have a question about something, whether it be a police matter in their own life, they can come here and talk to us about it. It's, They don't have to call 911. Keeps the kids, like I said, sort of in line a little bit sometimes. Some of the kids who might act out don't, because they know that we're here. A lot of the teachers appreciate that. Most rewarding? Oh, it's got to be the treats that the parents bring. There's always food here, something to eat. No, what's most rewarding? It's knowing that I'm actually making a real difference. Sometimes when you're on patrol out on the streets, you're beating your head against the wall because it's the same people you're dealing with constantly, and you don't see that you're getting any headway. Here at the school, I see it maybe not from day to day, but from year to year. There's kids that were in here nonstop last year, and this year they're not down here. They've gotten it together, going to their classes, passing everything. You make a difference, and they grow and they change. It's kind of fun. It's very rewarding to see them make it and graduate. It's fun to be kind of a little part of that. It's a fun place to be. Yeah, the school's a blast. I'm a cop in a school. This is great.
Hanging out with the kids, honestly, yeah, sometimes I have to make arrests or, have hard conversations with them. But just in the morning, getting a hug or a high five, or, kids come in and they like to draw on my marker board and they'll write, you're the best police officer ever, or, stuff like that. And then seeing the kids outside of this, if I'm at the mall or something, I'll run into a couple kids and they recognize me even though I'm not in my uniform, and they're excited to see me. So it just feels good, and knowing that, I may not make a difference in every case, but even if I make a difference in one kid's life or a few kids' life that maybe would have grown up and went down the wrong path in life, if I can convince them to get on the straight and narrow, or make better choices in life, then that's what means the most to me.
A lot of kids will see me in the hallway and it's, give me a high five. That's the coolest thing ever, is just, see kids come up and be friendly with me and know that they can just, as I say, put their guard down and be a kid around me. I have kids that, I'll see in the hallway and beginning of the school year, they don't even want to have anything to do with me. There's one student in particular that he got here his first week of school and he said, "I hate cops." And now he'll come up to me and give me a hug. And, it's that thing right there, that student, that action, that behavior, that changing, the molding and showing that right there, that interaction is phenomenal. There's no way I can describe how happy it makes me to feel that a student can interact with me and that first hated my guts, but now will come to me for anything, and he'll share stories with me and it just amazes me that he's open with me, and I'm very thankful for that. You're seeing it a lot more in social media where they'll take a picture of a police officer playing basketball. There's so much more of that happening. We're more proactive, preventative, we're positive in more people's lives than people want to admit. You see all over the media, a police officer doing something that he shouldn't do, breaking the law or assaulting somebody, being aggressive, or police brutality, or the things that are happening in other parts of the world that luckily here in Sioux Falls we're not dealing with. There's just a lot of people that look down on police officers. And if I can work with the kids at a young age to get them to realize that what they're seeing on the news is not what all of us are like, I want them to understand that we're a lot of kind and caring gentlemen and women in uniform, that we took this job voluntarily. It's
not just all dealing with naughty kids, and some people and even other officers are like, oh gosh, I could never do that job. I couldn't stand to deal with those kids every day, and that's a small part of our job, having to make arrests and having to deal with the negative aspects of things, but there's so much more to it, and it's so rewarding. And just knowing that you could make a difference in a child's life is priceless.